Alright, let's start this game of automobile off. To begin with, I did the first step. Everybody picked their chits. Now these should all be face down in front of them. They only get one each in this period, and it's going to count towards the mid-level cars. What's kind of sucky here, in small number of players, your chit tells you a lot, right? So if I'm holding a 2 like this guy is, well, I know that the demand is going to be fairly low affected by that. But if I'm holding a 2 in 5 players, that might not tell me much of anything. I have very little picture of the demand here. So, I'm kind of more, I've got to assume that it's fairly balanced. Maybe it's skewed a little low because I've got that. Now, the truth of the matter is, there's a couple of people with them. I'm going to probably need a die to help me make decisions in this game. Alright. So now we go in the initial order. Now this guy has this too. He's going to have the first option to sort of buy factories. That early factory is cheap, but it has some disadvantages. Which is to say, you're going to be picking up cubes against that factory really, really early. So there may be a desire not to build this one. I've got to kind of think, what do I want to do? What are these special abilities? Fair enough. Let's look at these. So Ford has a special ability of building a factory or parts factory in a location that you already have one or more factories. You do this when it's your turn to perform an action, and you have to pay normal cost, but this is in addition to a normal action. And when you use this, you'll tilt him, or whatever. I haven't gone over these. Kettering's only ability is 3 special cubes. Sloan, we already touched him. He allows you to discard half the new lost cubes you pick up. Howard gives you a couple of sails. Durant lets you build a factory in an unoccupied production space. It still costs you R&D cubes, and it still costs you cash. So that's kind of cool. And Chrysler is going to give you the ability to discard lost cubes equal to the current turn, which isn't very helpful at this point in the game, probably. Although, who knows? You are possibly going to be picking up lost cubes, and it's nice to get rid of them and keep your balance equal. And he's not a bad guy. He comes with 2 R&D cubes, which is almost as good as our top R&D guy. So what do I want to go with? Jeez. Going early may not be an advantage. It may be an advantage to take your last action as the factory building and throw that into play then. In which case, I probably want to go towards the end. I actually like Chrysler's ability. I also like Sloan's ability, which gets me more lost cubes back. Chrysler goes last, so I may not be getting a lost cube. I'll go with Durant. I like that. Oh, everybody starts with some stuff here. Everybody starts with R&D cubes, 3 of them. I forgot to hand that out. I gave them the cash that they start with. That gives you a nice little pool to work with. And remember, you can take an action to pick up more of them. They're valuable. And that, too, is limited by countermix. Yeah, I'm going to go with Durant. That gets me an extra R&D cube, and I'll try to remember what his special ability is. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do that from the counters. Okay, that puts it on green. Green sees there's a decent amount of demand. I could go for this idea of trying to get an early build with Ford. But if I'm going to go kind of early, I'm going to go with Sloan, who allows me to cut the number of cubes I get. Red will take Chrysler. Again, reducing the cubes slightly. Letting him go last, which maybe lets him get a more expensive but longer lasting factory. Orange here. Low demand. Probably doesn't want Ford. Might want Kettering. Maybe Howard. We'll go with Howard with him. That'll allow us to sell more cars with less effect. And now yellow's choices are really limited. Do I want to build more factories? Middling demand. I'm going to go with Kettering and all those R&D cubes. He doesn't have a special ability. Now we move to first action. Ford doesn't get to play, but we go to yellow with Kettering. And I'll move these to the side as I do them. What do I want to do? I don't particularly want to buy a car factory at this point, I don't think. Let's look at what my options are. Well, there aren't a lot of other options. I can place some salesmen. If I place salesmen, I got a problem. Because I'll need to build factory and produce cars, and that'll only give me 2 cars. My salesman will take care of those. I got odd, which means I think I might want to go with that option. Yeah, I get 3 salesmen. Now, I'm going to take 2 more R&D cubes. That puts me to green. I'm willing to pay out for the cheap factory. So Sloan is going to pay 1 R&D cube and $250 in order to build. Oh, sorry, I get $50 more. That's only a $200 factory. To build myself a factory. Howard wants to get some cars built. There's no question there. In fact, I might be able to produce twice or to build more factories. I'm going to buy that $250 factory on, what is that, a Buick. Ooh. Take a little bit of pain here. That's okay. Now we go to Durant. Now Durant, why did I pick Durant? Oh, I gotta spend an R&D cube because I'm building a new kind of factory. Durant's ability, I can't remember, is that he can build a factory in an unoccupied space without it taking his action. There's not a lot of... I'm not sure that there's going to be a lot of production here. So if I build this factory, I can build another factory. I'm going to toss salesman into play as my action. That puts me on Chrysler. Chrysler's bonus is pretty minor. I get some reduction. Everybody seems to be holding off here. Now the problem is I have a decent demand card. I'm going to buy my factory. That's going to cost me $300. For a Jackson. And I have to spend a cube for that. That takes me through the first round. I go here. And let's see. Back on Kettering. No bonuses there. Kettering's looking at, this is the best car that I have available at this point. Now, do I want to try to wait it out? Well, if I wait it out another round, I don't get any production. So I've got to do this. So for $350, 400, 500,000, I'll build myself the Buick Model 10 car. Sloan sees a lot of demand available. I think I can either build another factory or I can build cars twice. Building another factory has a longer term value, but this car doesn't have a lot of lifespan as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to build cars once. Sloan's special ability has to do with cubes. So if I build 2 cars, which is all I can build with one factory, for $200, I get a couple of cars up here. Howard. Same situation, really. I could build cars. I have a good capacity for selling them. I've got this. What else might I want to do? Jeez, I don't know. I'm going to build cars. I'm going to build 2 of them for my $200. And I throw them up there. Durant, I don't have a car to build. Here's my problem. I bought myself a bunch of these guys. If I buy these, I can build some of them. So I'm going to spend 1 cube and $300 to get myself that. Durant's special ability is not... Geez. It's hard to remember these special abilities. Durant is able to do this as a bonus. So I have another action I can take. Now, right now, I can only build 3 cars. Who's the guy who gets... Oh, Ford's the other guy who gets an action. I wish the actions were represented on here. It's hard to remember. So, Durant's special ability got me in here. I used his ability. But now, I could add more car and then produce both. That doesn't sound too bad. I'm going to spend another cube and get one of these for 400 bucks. I'm going big time on the action. And I have used up my action. Now when I produce, I'll get a whole bunch of cars. I have my salesman, which I can commit down here when it comes to that phase. That puts me on Chrysler. Chrysler has cars. Are they running out of date? Yeah, they're already kind of cutting the edge here as well. I don't see a tremendous amount of this. I'm able to drop 1 pip. So I'm going to be picking up 2 pips for this old factory already. I'm able to get rid of 1 for this turn. Could I sell 4 cars? Maybe. Let's see if I'm going to go kind of harder. Yeah, I'm going to go a little harder. I'm going to buy a $300 factory as well, because I don't want to get behind. We go to the third action. And on this action, we're back to Kettering. Kettering has no cars. He needs to produce cars. There's no question there. I have 1 base factory. I'm going to build myself 2 cars. I lost my demand chip. There it is. I'm going to hope that I can get these. They cost me 200 bucks. To build. Sloan. Sloan has his cars built. I could build more cars, and that's what I was planning on doing. I'm gonna do it for 200 bucks. What's Sloan's special ability? Damned if I know. It's got something to do with cubes, I think. Alright, to Howard. Well, we know what Howard's special ability is, and he too is going to spend his 200 bucks to build himself some more cars. Because he's good at selling them. Okay. That puts me on Durant. Durant also needs to produce cars, but he's got an interesting situation here. He's looking at, there's 8, 9, 10, 14 of these base cars. I think that I can sell that many. Right? 8, 9, 10, 14, 16? Maybe. I'm not sure. I kind of don't like having this factory if I can't sell them, but I know I can sell 1 because I get first shot at selling as the most advanced car out there. And the only person coming after me is Chrysler. He's not going to have a more advanced thing. So, if I'm able to advertise, which I have cubes for, I can win this. That sounds reasonable. So I'm going to produce both my factories. This one I'm going to pay $200 for and produce 2 cars. And this one, I'm only able to sell 3 cars, so that's all I'm going to produce from it. I spent $150 for. Oh, shit. I got to redo all the numbers for these cars. Everybody gets 30 bucks a car back. I'll do that in a moment. Because these guys are not 100 bucks each. That's luxuries. 70 bucks each. And I'm going to need my hands free to do that. Okay, so he's going to be buying more than he's committed for. Jesus. All right, let's go back and I'll try to figure out what happened here. First of all, green has decided to kick up their production as hard as they can. They've got 5 of these. That's fine. Yellow has done the same. They're up to 3. And essentially they're paying $10 more per production because they're paying $210 for 3 of these instead of $200 for 2 of those. Great. Orange, however, has only produced 2 each time because he has this little number. He's not really willing to commit to selling more. Oh, you know, whatever. I don't know how this is going to work out because I shouldn't fuck up like that, right? For blue, I'm going to buy 2 of these at 140 because I can buy an advertising chit or cut sales or whatever and get rid of these. I'm also going to buy the 3 of these. So it's 140 and 150, which is 290 for the production that I put out there. And hopefully this all adds up. 7, yeah. 290 means I get $10 back. And that puts us finally to Chrysler, who's looking at, I have to buy at least 4 cars. Now, Chrysler's situation is, I got a pretty decent chit here. I don't know what's going on. People are buying cars as if there's a lot of chits out there. I have a fairly high chit. I'm not sure I want to buy 7 cars worth, but I bought 2 factories for a reason, damn it. So I'm going to buy myself, let's see, how many do we have? 2, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to count these. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cars. You know, there's at least 15. I'm counting there's got to be at least 18. So what did I say? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can buy at least 5. I'm going to go for 6 cars. I think that's a little conservative, but it feels like there's a lot of demand out there. 6 cars at 70 cost me $420. And why have I spent so much? Because I spent 600 of that. 420, 50, 70, 80, 500, and there goes this. And we'll also spend big on all those cars. And they go here. All right. Now we go to the special Charles something or other, Howard, and he has to sell 2 of these. I get $300 for selling them. Nice and sweet. What did I say? 300. That goes to a $500 bill. Great. Now we go to advertising. Only blue has advertising. He's going to fill up and try to sell his low-end models here with advertising. And he gets full value for them, which is $300. And I'm on a cord now, so it's hard. This money is really unpleasant to me. I like the texture. Overall, the Mayfair production value for this is really high. The money doesn't match the old Mayfair money that was printed on really nice, heavier stock. This is like printed on photocopy paper. It's very filmy, too slick. Okay, so that's the only advertising that's going on. And now we go to the button, and it's time for the button. And the first person to go in the button is Yellow Kettering. How does he feel about things? Well, one of these is going to sell. I don't see a very high chit here. Do I want to pay? Yeah, I'm going to drop these 2 in here to grab an advertising chit for that. That means I'll sell 2 of these next on my first opportunity. Not optimal, but it's cool. So now green gets their option. Green's a little worried. He's got a lot of cars here. He's going to advertise as well. Okay. That means we're over to orange. Howard doesn't have a lot. He's a little worried that these advertising people will sell more of their cars, though. He's going to face 2 here, 2 there. He thinks he can get away without advertising. He thinks he can get away without anything. He wants first option. That's going to be what he takes. He'll just pass. Now, he could have cut prices or advertised or whatever, but he's willing to deal with this. That gets to Durant. Durant's worried here. He knows he has a small chit, and there's 2. Will he get a second time around is really the question. Does he want to gamble on this? Yeah, he's going to gamble that he's going to get a second chance. He doesn't want to close his factories. So bang, there he goes. Now, closing factories is kind of a minus right now because you don't get the bonus of getting rid of some of your black cubes. So nobody's likely to do that. That puts me over to Chrysler. Chrysler has a whole horde of cars, and he wants to sell. Yep. He too will advertise. Okay. Puts us back up to Kettering. Kettering's got his advertising. He doesn't want to close anything out. He'll take second. Likewise with Sloan, he'll take second. And Chrysler, nothing he wants to do. He'll take second. Now, Chrysler may want to consider this. He could sell a whole boatload of cars. What's his feeling on the car market? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy might want to consider it too. So here's what I'm considering. This is Sloan here. He's got. Let's go back to him. He's got 5 of these, and he's looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 to orange. I'm going to sell 2, but I've got a lot left. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut my prices. That lets me sell 2 more. So I'll be selling 1, 2, 3, 4 cars the first time around. Granted, it's at a lower price. I'm only making $30 a car, but that's okay. I'll be undercutting everybody's price that way. Great. That puts me on red. He's got the same worry. Lots of cars. He too is going to drop his prices. Now, there aren't a lot of options left. I could close my factory. That would solve some problems here. Is Sloan the guy who gets half? Sloan's the guy who gets half the loss cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get 4 loss cubes if my factory's open. I spent $200 on this factory. I'm only going to be making $30 a car. I'm going to be losing money if I close this factory for the term. However, yeah, my bonus is my ability to cut loss cubes. So, I'm sticking with this and going to the end. Red certainly doesn't. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. Maybe I'm not losing money. $180, but I get 100 back. I'll make money. Of course, I got Sloan, which cuts the. Yeah, I'm gonna leave Sloan in place, which means the reason I'm thinking about closing the factory is, hey, I'm gonna get a lot of loss cubes that I don't really want, but it's not that many. It's 2 of them. And I get to keep my factory open. I can close it next time. I can cut my loss cubes in half. I'll be down to 1. That works out pretty well, I think. So, that leaves it to Chrysler. Does Chrysler want to close his factory? Hell no. He's got, for one thing, he's got the bonus of being able to get rid of one of his loss cubes. He's only going to be getting 2 this turn. Next turn, he can get rid of that one by closing the factory after purchasing it. So this is not the turn to close the factory. I can't cut prices further. You can only take one of those markers. So I'll put this here. And now we revealed the chits. And because this is the first turn, all the chits are for mid-level cars. So we've got a total demand of 9 and 7 is 16 cars. And now it's really actually mechanical. Oh shit. I collected the money for these cars already. I shouldn't have done that. They should have just gone into the pools. I'll pull them off the tray because I have collected that money already. Alright, because you normally collect all your money at once. So, I guess we do the cars one at a time. I collected the money for these, yeah. These guys, blue is able to sell one car at full value. White sells 2. That's at 3. Red sells 1, 2, 3 cars. We're at 6. Orange sells 1. We're at 7. Green sells 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. That puts us up to 11. We're at 11. We come back around. Blue sells a car. We're at 12. Yellow sells a car. Red can sell up to 3 cars. And green screwed, as is orange. Alright, so we get some lost cubes. Orange gets 1. And green gets 2. They don't pay money for these. They just get ditched in there. I don't know if these count against what he's able to kill. Shit. So it looks to me like Sloan only affects lost cubes gained for the production issue. He does not help against lost cubes generated from failed sales. Which is somewhere buried in here, I would guess. If you reach the least and there's still demand. Yeah, so at this point is where that happens, and that Sloan doesn't affect that. So where am I? Now everybody collects their cash for these, and this is why it was a big deal that I collected my cash for the others. What I'm going to do is simply multiply these out. So let's look at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit. Green's here, reds are here in the gray box because, or in the lower price because they were here. So this is important because the ones that were sold with advertising I've already disposed of, but they would be sitting in the correct box at this point. All right, so let's look at yellow first. Yellow's going to get quick 300 bucks, and we make change that way. And I'll do that for the rest of them, and I'll come back with the rest. This nice layout is great and everything, but I couldn't read the numbers here. I don't know what I sent. I think I sent 300 bucks to him, so he's owed another 150. And And I don't remember who else. This guy gets 50 bucks because he only sold one, I think. And Blue sold two, so he probably gets another 100. And now these guys are at 100. Now it's time to collect those lost cubes, and these can all go back in the bag. Which I try to do one-handed, but I hate these bags for... When I'm doing video, the bags are really hard. I like a cup a lot better. Okay, so now it's time for the lost cubes. And sometime we get a check mark. Alright, no lost cubes assumed for this, none for this. These are the most advanced cars of their type. Yellow gets one. He has nothing that can help him. Red gets one. But as soon as red gets one, Chrysler allows me to ditch it. Wow, it's really hard to see my lost cubes on the black table. Okay, orange is going to get two. And he's collecting up a little pile of them there, 3 of them. It's not so hard through the camera. Neat. And green is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 lost cubes. And I'll exchange one for a big one. Oh, no. Never mind that. He gets 4 lost cubes, halved for being Sloan. So he gets 2 lost cubes. And as you can see, there are a lot of little things that are kind of annoying me here. Some of them, this is tough for me to read from a distance. Especially when there's piles of cubes and stuff going on there. Others, these guys have no indication of what their power is, so I'm flipping through the rules to try to remember it. You know, no worse than, say, the miners in 1830, but still, kind of annoying. Now things get refreshed. And I think that's all we do here. End of the turn. Remove all... Oh, if anybody had loans, they would pay their money here. Okay, the character tiles go back. And we'll take some of these. There's got to be another one here. These things go back. And, you know, I don't know how much I can cover this in depth the way I've been doing. And there's no story that I feel is easily describable. I mean, except, oh look, there's some factories that were built here. It doesn't have the kind of progression that an 18XX has that lends to a nice story. I feel like the game is tied to the topic well. It's just the mechanics of it don't relate well to telling the story. There's no map. Games with maps are always better. Alright, let's keep going here. Executive decision. This thing's been restocked. The turn marker moves forward. I forgot to handle something here. Everybody's got to pay for their cubes. So this guy's going to pay 40 bucks, if I can find 40 bucks in here. There's 50. My damn camera's doing something weird in my hand. It's like throbbing. And likewise, each person's going to pay 10 bucks for their thing, and then this goes forward, and we're going to load this kind of crappy ass turn in terms of the videoing of it up. This game has a definite getting the mechanical aspects of it down, especially on a first play in a long time, second play overall. But I remember it being kind of painful not with the camera, but what I was going to say, especially doing it in camera one of the few times. But this was a game that I remember kind of being a pain in the ass to do all the maintenance tasks on it. And you could say the same kind of thing with dominant species that I covered earlier, but this one's less painful. The counting aspects, yes, I screwed up all over the place, but the counting aspects, etc., it's more just the remembering what to do when is harder on this, but there were aspects in that were hard too. All right, I'll pay out the rest of the money for that, and then we start another turn after I load this